Here you go, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
The chilly morning air at the Seattle bus terminal carried the scent of rain and the distant roar of departing engines. People hurried across the platform, bundled in jackets, clutching luggage and coffee cups. Among them stood a young Navy soldier, her shoulders shaking as she tried to hide her tears beneath the brim of her cap. She had just received news that her deployment date had been pushed forward, leaving her with barely any time to say proper goodbyes. The weight of loneliness pressed on her chest, and despite the crowd around her, she felt utterly alone. The little girl noticed before anyone else did. She had been waiting with her father, swinging her small backpack back and forth while watching people pass by. Her father, a retired Marine, was occupied buying snacks, leaving her free to study the Navy soldier in quiet curiosity. Something in the woman's trembling shoulders stirred compassion in the child's heart. Without hesitation, she stepped forward, tugging gently at the soldier's sleeve, lifting her big brown eyes to meet the tearful gaze above her. The soldier blinked, startled out of her sadness by the soft touch. The girl's face glowed with innocence and concern, a comforting sight in her moment of despair. The soldier knelt down to eye level, unsure whether to smile or apologize for her emotional state. Before she could speak, the little girl reached out a tiny hand and brushed away the tear clinging to the soldier's cheek. Her voice trembled with sincerity as she said the words that melted the soldier's heart. Like morning sunlight breaking through storm clouds around them, "Please don't cry, ma'am," she whispered, her small fingers curling around the soldier's palm. "You can borrow my dad. He's really good at helping people not be sad for a moment." The world went still. The soldier felt her throat tighten, overwhelmed by the simple kindness offered by someone so small yet so brave. She glanced over at the vending machines where the girl's father had just turned around, looking puzzled as he noticed his daughter speaking to a stranger. His eyes softened with understanding as he approached. Reading the soldier's pain as easily as he once read the battlefield skies, he didn't ask questions. Some things were visible without needing explanation. The Marine veteran rested a steady hand on the soldier's shoulder, his voice calm yet carrying the authority of someone who had weathered storms of his own. He welcomed her into the small pocket of peace he shared with his daughter. The soldier felt the warmth of belonging spread through her chest, easing the ache that had been gnawing at her since the deployment message arrived. The three of them moved to a nearby bench. The girl proudly sat between them, swinging her legs as if she had just solved the world's biggest problem. The father offered the soldier one of the snacks he had bought, insisting gently when she tried to refuse. The rain began tapping on the shelter above, a soft rhythm that wrapped the trio in a cocoon of unexpected comfort. The soldier spoke haltingly at first, then more openly, sharing her fears about leaving so soon. The retired Marine listened with the easy patience of someone who understood the weight of service. He offered stories, not to compare, but to reassure. Stories about nights when the ocean winds felt colder than steel, and mornings when duty felt heavier than his own gear. His words were steady, grounding the soldier like an anchor in a rough tide. The little girl rested her head against his arm and watched the soldier with quiet pride, glad that her offering had helped mend a wounded heart. As the bus arrival announcements echoed through the terminal, the soldier felt something shift inside her. The loneliness had not vanished, but it no longer consumed her. She looked at the little girl, whose kindness had bridged the gap between strangers. She promised softly that she would carry that kindness with her across oceans and long nights, letting it remind her that she was never truly alone. The girl beamed at her, happy simply to have helped when the time came for the soldier to board. She stood slowly, her uniform crisp, but her heart no longer heavy. The father gave her a firm embrace, the kind that said she had a place to return to. The little girl hugged her tightly around the waist, whispering that she would pray for her every night until she came home again. The soldier knelt one last time, promising to visit them when she returned, grateful for the grace she had been given by two strangers who felt like family. As the bus pulled away from the terminal, the soldier watched through the window. She saw the little girl waving with both hands, her father's arm around her shoulders. The memory fixed itself in the soldier's heart, like a lantern glowing in darkness. She straightened her back, letting courage settle into her bones. Ahead of her lay long nights, rough seas, and distant horizons, but she carried with her the warmth of a borrowed family, and that warmth, born from the compassion of a child, would see her through every mile.